This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per top.
5 and 6 million. He is hell-bent on global domination. We just broke our 100,000 unit sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka.
Okay, Top Tribe, this week's winner of the $100 is Daniel Al-Sudini. He's based overseas, he's an employee at a current company, and can't wait to break free. For your chance to win $100, Top Tribe, simply subscribe to the podcast now and then text the word Nathan to 33444 to prove that you did it. Again, text the word Nathan to 33444 to prove that you did it. I give away $100 every Monday. Many people ask me what tool I used to sell my first company, Heyo. The answer is thetopinbox.com. I used it to send emails, schedule emails to be sent out later, and set reminders inside my inbox so I would know when potential buyers were actually interested, and I easily remember to follow up with ones that hadn't replied to me. You can try it for free at thetopinbox.com. Nathan Latka here. This is episode 544. Coming up tomorrow morning, you will learn from Gal Harsby of Udemy, which just raised $3.4 million. They're doing $160,000 a month recurring revenue by helping businesses get more leads. Nathan Latka here. Good morning, guys. Our guest today is Eric Boggs. He's the CEO at RevBoss, a sales prospecting SaaS company. RevBoss helps B2B sales teams grow pipeline and win more customers. Prior to RevBoss, he was the founder and CEO at Argyle Social and employee number one at Bronto. Eric lives in Durham, North Carolina with his wife and 3 small children. Eric, are you ready to take us to the top?
Let's do it.
You know, I just realized I reached out when I was growing Heyo when you guys sent a customer blast out at Argyle Social that you were shutting down. I think I reached out and we talked about me buying those assets.
Yeah, I had already left Argyle at that point.
Oh. Do you have a co-founder?
Yeah, I was. That was a very weird time, and ended up selling bits and pieces of the company to a couple different buyers, and in a not good situation, our investors got quite a bit of their money back. So it turned out to be not a complete smoking crater, but maybe just like a smoldering small hole in the ground.
How much? I forget. How much had you guys raised?
We'd only raised 1.5, 1.6.
Okay.
And that was a little bit of the problem. The other competitors in our category had raised massive amounts of money.
Buddy Media
and I think we realized a little bit. Yeah. I think we had realized a little too late that it was a foot race. Mm-hmm. And at that point, a lot of the market was so far ahead of us, and we kind of made some dumb product decisions early on, as companies are wont to do. But we just didn't have the cash and the runway to get to where we needed to get. So, but you live, you learn.
Yeah. No, it's super valuable. By the way, this is what happens with most companies, right? Most companies give back nothing on the dollar. What'd you give back? 50, 60 cents on the dollar?
I contractually cannot share.
Is that not public? What year did you that? I mean, this was many years ago, right?
I think the whole thing kind of wrapped up like 2 years ago. So actually, yeah, I guess I probably could share. I mean, it was probably somewhere between 60 and 70 cents on the dollar.
Not bad. That's not horrible, right? What was what was it? Competitors that I just mentioned that were buying these assets? The Hootsuites of the world, or was it just a totally different kind of buyer?
One was an enterprise buyer that we actually tried to get to buy the whole company. And earlier in the life of Argyle, that conversation kind of progressed and never really, we never really got married. Yeah. And eventually when sort of fire sale happened, they were quick to swoop in and they got a good deal. And, investors got some of their assets back, and, it could have been a whole heck of a lot worse.
What'd they buy? Like a customer list or the tech stack or what?
I think they bought, I think they licensed the core technology.
Oh, interesting.
And then we sold the actual code base to another startup that was sort of ramping up similar product in a similar space.
So that license, I guess their thesis was they had a product that did not do exactly what you did, but still in the social space. And this was going to be a natural upsell for them.
Yeah. At the time it was, this was an enterprise buyer, like selling marketing solutions to the Fortune 50. And they had a very, very weak social story. And so they saw the stuff that we had built as a natural fit to their platform, and frankly, just a good story.
Yep.
Some of the team went there, and suddenly they could check the social box, and some of the stuff that we had built, I think, dovetailed in nicely with some of the stuff that they were already selling to their customer base.
So that was Argyle. You were then, was it before or after that you were employee number one at Bronto? I guess before, right?
Yeah, before. I was employee number one, like in a, the office at the time was probably the size of, your walk-in closet or maybe your bathroom. And, I was a really young guy at the time. I was 22 when I joined Bronto. And
what was your role?
I was a one-man sales team for 2.5 years.
Wow.
And, you learn a lot. I'd never really sold anything, even though in the interview I kind of lied a little bit and said, yeah, I'd sold stuff.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to go work there and really wanted to work for a tech startup. And first few months, it was miserable. I hardly sold anything, and I knew they were going to fire me every day. I was like, this is just not working out. But slowly kept getting better. The product kept getting better. I improved in my role and really, really tonned it for those guys.
I assume you got equity that early, right?
Yeah, so all that kind of played out really nicely, and the company.
You made more money on that than you did on Argyle, I imagine, because Bronto's doing very well.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, and I mean, just having that story that early in my career has really helped. After Bronto, I went to business school for 2 years and got a complete scholarship and a stipend, due in large part because I had this unique career experience that not very many people had, and so I had a choice of schools and had experienced something really different, being there from the very beginning of a company's launch and then seeing it through to, when I left, I think there were maybe 30 employees, and now, it's gotten acquired twice. It got acquired by NetSuite, and then Oracle acquired NetSuite. So now Bronto is an Oracle company.
And so fast forward now into RevBoss. What does RevBoss do, and what's your business model?
So we are a SaaS company that helps B2B sales organizations find more prospects and win more customers. And the company sort of spun out of my experience at Bronto, where I sold software subscriptions there in like the pre-Cambrian era of SaaS, when we didn't even use Salesforce.com. This was like back in the Stone Ages. And then even fast forward to Argyle, where our outbound sales process was just a complete mess. And so in between the Argyle wind down and RevBoss, I was a consultant for a year and helped a number of really good SaaS companies make some improvements in their sales process, AdZerk, User Voice, Device Magic. And from that sort of began to get a bead on this idea of RevBoss. And, we have a lot of competitors that have kind of all sprung up all around the same time. They just solved this problem around generating conversations early in the sales funnel. And it's really freaking hard to do.
Eric, round out the industry a bit. Who are three of your competitors, would you say?
Well, there's sort of different flavors. I think on the pure play sales prospecting software, SalesLoft and Outreach, probably Outreach then SalesLoft, are the sort of clear leaders. But then over in sort of an area where we play, Lead Genius and Zen Prospect are more closely aligned with the opportunity that we see, which is combining not just the sales outreach software, but combining that with data and then actually people to kind of drive the process forward.
And what is
there's
go ahead.
Well, and then there's sort of the broader sales automation universe of Salesforce.com and Yesware and HubSpot and the like, and that's sort of a different piece of the process.
Yeah. What is so help us understand where you're at today. How many paying customers are you serving here in December 2016?
So we probably have, let me give you a little bit more of the story on RevBoss. We started it as a services company. We just launched our product in September of this year.
Okay, 2016. Yep.
Yeah, so we built the business as services, probably serving around 50 or 60 services plus product customers right now. And a lot of those product customers are people that have been with us as services customers for a long time.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, that has been a really hard lesson for me to learn as a founder. Turns out building a services business is pretty easy. Growing a services business is really, really hard. And then turning that services business into a SaaS business is even harder.
I will tell you though, some of the biggest success stories from a SaaS perspective come from agencies that build up a 40, 50, 60 person kind of client base. They start hearing the same problems from every client and they spin up a SaaS business from it with a built-in customer base to start.
Yeah, and I mean that is precisely what we've done, and that has been precisely the plan for us from the very beginning. I just don't know that I fully understood like the weird things that you have to do. One of those being, we had a customer, like a financial services software company, that was paying us $3,000 a month. That's a pretty good services customer for us. And to convert them to SaaS, they're going to now pay us $1,000 a month. And so now we have a $2,000 cash gap, but we have $1,000 recurring revenue software customer. And the cash flow management side of me is freaking out, but the long-term thinking SaaS CEO compounding customer base side of me is really pumped up, because that $1,000 in recurring SaaS revenue is actually a lot more valuable than the $3,000 in services revenue. And so we're doing this really weird thing where we're cannibalizing ourselves a little bit.
Short term.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's this short term weird thing we have to do where we celebrate when customers pay us less. Yep. But in reality, we're making the business a lot healthier and sort of executing on the longer term vision of the company.
Well, and your cost of goods sold on a SaaS sale versus a people, selling professional services is significantly higher. You don't have to pay, people to execute something manual. Yeah,
precisely. Yeah. And it's actually we've learned it's an advantage in the sales process where, we'll have a couple conversations percolating now where, this idea of sales prospecting is new to them. And we have the advantage of saying, well, look, why don't we run it for you for 3 months? And you can tell if this is something that you want to invest in. And after 3 months, you can continue working with us as a services customer, or you're going to already have a program that's up and running that we've built in our product, and you can just jump right in as a SaaS user.
So what is the average, Eric, let's just jump into some more of the economics real quick. What is the average customer paying you per month?
All in, our average customer pays us, I'd say probably $1,800 a month.
Okay.
And that's sort of weighing in all the services and the SaaS. Average SaaS customer is probably closer to $500, $600 a month.
So if I do kind of the 1,800 times 50 customers, is it fair to say MRR kind of weighted and all in is somewhere around 90K?
A shade less than that, but yeah, that's pretty close to where we're trending.
Okay. And bootstrapped, or have you raised capital?
We raised a seed round a year ago. Okay. We raised $1.1 million, and almost all of that has been plowed into software development. And
a convertible note or equity?
Equity.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, all of we launched the product in September, so pretty much all of this year was sort of taking this service that we have built and turning it into a software-driven process. And like any SaaS founder, everything takes twice as long and costs twice as much.
What percent? Because you were obviously, I assume you were pre-revenue when you raised the 1.1 million, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we got some credit in the deal
agency side
because we had proven that we could sell, and we'd proven that we could run a business, and we had proven that there was a market for the product simply by selling it as a service.
So what, Eric, what I'm asking here is, you have a background, Bronto, Argyle, agency revenue, using all of those as negotiation leverage. What percentage of the business did you sell for 1.1 million?
I think it ended up being like 20%, somewhere between 20 and 25%.
That's not horrible. That's what $5 million valuation kind of pre-SaaS product, right?
Yeah, and I think the lesson I learned from Argyle is that the price doesn't really matter all that much. It matters, right? You don't want to sell 50% of your company that early, but there's sort of a range for what's reasonable. As long as you can get in that range of what's reasonable, I cared a lot more about the deal terms.
Yep.
And I think the investors, not to speak for them, but I think they were pretty happy with the price. And I was pretty happy with the deal in terms of how, some of the other things that were included. And I think earlier in my career, I would have really been fixated on dilution and fixated on price. This is sort of the second go around for me as a SaaS founder raising institutional capital. And this time I cared a whole heck of a lot about price and a whole lot more about just how the deal was structured.
And what was, give us a sense of how the agency was doing in 2015. What was total 2015 revenue?
It wasn't huge, probably $700,000 geez, probably 700K, 800K.
Okay.
I frankly can't even remember. It's like Stone Age.
That's okay. And what's the team size today?
There are 12 of us.
All in Durham?
No, actually, we have a sales and services team in Durham, and our engineering team is distributed.
Oh, very
so
cool.
We have
all over the
software
world.
engineers in Minneapolis, Columbia, South Carolina, Ecuador, Dayton, Ohio. And we have one guy that's actually in North Carolina, but he lives about 45 minutes outside of Durham, so he just never comes to the office.
Yeah.
So he's distributed even though he lives, driving distance away.
And do you have a sense these guys that have now moved over to the SaaS model, what are they worth to you kind of over a lifetime? What's at least in your Excel spreadsheet? What do you project lifetime value is currently?
Yeah, so that's a hard question, right? Because we don't know yet. We are budgeting a 12-month LTV, which is not that great in the grand scheme of things. I looked at some data from HubSpot, and their LTV is 3, 4, 5 years, depending on that it's sort of increased over time. But even if we can just get a 12-month LTV, the SaaS business is going to be very, very healthy. And so my thinking around this kind of stuff is budget a 12-month LTV and then surprise yourself with an 18-month, 24-month LTV.
So 12-month LTV times $1,800 ARPU is about a $21,000 lifetime value in terms of dollars, right?
Yeah. And our customer acquisition cost is pretty low.
What is it?
Like $2K.
Okay. And what is that spent on? Any paid stuff, or is that on inside salespeople salaries and content marketing?
It's all inbound, primarily inbound and referral. And, oddly enough, as, a company that enables other companies to build pipeline with outbound sales, we have really sucked at outbound sales.
Yeah.
It's, the cobbler's children, no shoes, whatever that saying is, but that is us.
Of the 12, how many are salespeople?
1.
Okay. And the rest are engineers?
So say 1.5.
And the rest are engineers and support?
Yeah, we have 4 in our customer success team, 1 in operations, and the rest are all software engineers.
Got it. Okay, interesting breakdown. Okay, take me to churn real quick. Gross customer monthly churn. What are you projecting there?
Well, that's basically just LT. That's function
Just
LTV.
by 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're looking at that's like 8%.
Yep.
It's actually 13.1. 13-month LTV is what we budgeted.
Yeah. These would be very kind of worst case scenario, because if you have a 12-month 8% churn in a SaaS business will kill you. But I imagine with these enterprise sales at this price point plus the SDR side of it, where you're onboarding and kind of touching every customer, it'll hopefully be way lower than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, our churn at Argyle was quite a bit lower than 8%. But again, my experience is to plan for the worst. But no, realistically, you should be able to beat that over time.
Folks, I may have to stop doing the podcast. I will tell you why. I have found a business and I'm ready to go all in. It's the one I want to take public by the time I turn 30. It's called thetopinbox.com. And here's why I know it's going to be big, very big. There are so many other companies charging way too much for this right now. Yesware, ToutApp, Boomerang. That's to do things like send later reminders and auto follow-ups for salespeople inside of your Gmail inbox. I'm doing it. I'm going to do it for free. We have so many people using it. It's growing so fast. And we do many of the things that salespeople love. We don't require people to leave the inbox to go log into a website. It's so simple to use. And I have to tell you, salespeople are like drooling over this thing. They're like licking the drool off their keyboard. They're loving this thing so much. Thetopinbox.com. Go install it now. Use it for free, people. Okay, I like you because you're listeners. Use it for free before I decide to start charging for it. Go right now to thetopinbox.com. Okay, Top Tribe, I have to tell you, many people go, Nathan, you came out of nowhere. Your website's growing so fast. How'd you do it? The answer is simple. So I use HostGator. I don't know if you guys know that, but I use HostGator. And the reason I do, they have like about 4,500 free templates I can use because I don't code. They've got a great e-commerce plugin. And guys, I bug the heck out of their support. They've got 24/7 support, which I love. So what I've done is I've worked with them. You guys know I make great deals. If you go to hostgator.com/Nathan, you can sign up, get your own domain for 30% off and a 45-day money-back guarantee. Okay, again, I make great deals for you guys. Go to hostgator.com/Nathan to grab that now.
Eric, let's jump into the famous 5 and wrap up here. First one, what's your favorite business book?
The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. I feel like I read that thing every 3 months and frequently just pick it up and read a chapter based on something that I'm dealing with.
Yeah. Is there a CEO that you're following or studying right now?
Geez. That's a tough question. I'll give a shout out to one of my friends, someone that you should interview. My friend Matt Williamson, he's the CEO of a company called Windsor Circle. They're actually one floor above us in Durham. He worked with me at Bronto, and he's built a great business at Windsor Circle. And, man, he has seen the highs and he has seen the lows. And he's someone that I hang out with quite a bit. And I actually had a mini freak out a couple weeks ago and kind of pulled him aside to chat about it. And he just told me to quit being a whiny shit.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I love an intro. That'd be great to interview him. Number 3, Eric, what's your favorite online tool, like Acuity Scheduling?
Oh, geez. My favorite online tool. Oh, Stripe, man, it has like made our business so much cleaner. We were doing a lot of invoices, sort of like traditional services company type stuff. You know, as an agency, that's typically how you run your business. We flipped over to Stripe and transact all of our payments online now. And man, life's gotten a lot easier.
Number 4, yes or no, do you get 8 hours of sleep every night?
No, I have a 5-month-old.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so you're married, 1 kid or more?
I have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 5-month-old.
So 3 kids.
3 kids. So nobody's sleeping in my house.
How old are you, Eric?
I'm 36.
Okay, so last question. Take us back 16 years. What do you wish your 30-year-old self or your 20-year-old self knew?
Oh, geez. What do I wish my 20-year-old self would knew? I think I would tell that guy to not worry so much about the long term, that things just have a way of working themselves out. And I say that from the perspective of a guy that's seen some pretty nice successes in my career and seen some pretty low points in my career. And I think in reality, the highs never are as great as they feel, and the lows are never really as bad as they feel. And I think that probably would have saved me some hairline and some stress if I had sort of digested that earlier in my life.
Just to be clear, everyone, he said hairline, not heroin. I know it sounded muddled together. in case your kids are listening, Eric. So Top Drive will link to all of Eric's resources and the data and his learnings in the show notes at nathanlatka.com/the top 544. Again, that's nathanlatka.com/the top 544. Eric Boggs, the founder of RevBoss, $1.1 million raised last year, launched their SaaS product here in 2016. Now serving about 50 customers, did $700,000 in 2015 revenue. Currently, again, with those 50 customers, doing an ARPU of about $1,800 a month. MRR just slightly below $90,000, projecting 8% monthly churn. Again, aggressively 12-month lifetime value, and then a total lifetime value in dollars of $21,000. Again, helping folks get their sales development stuff on track with their team of 12 based in Durham and other remote locations. Eric, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks, Nathan. This was a lot of fun.
If you enjoyed Eric today, go back and listen to Oleg yesterday. Oleg's company, People.ai, helps sales teams. And he said on the show, Nathan, we're about to close a massive round. Top Tribe, I love giving away free money. I feel like Oprah giving away cars, and I have something special for you today. How many of you have heard our super sharp guests talk about success they've had with Facebook and Google Ads? Well, all of you listening right now, yes, if you're listening, you get $100 in free AdWords. Here's how you get it, okay? Again, thanks for listening. Get the free $100 from Google, right, when you sign up with my website host provider, HostGator. Go sign up now to get your free money. HostGator.com/Nathan. Again, that's HostGator.com/Nathan. Okay, Top Tribe, I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. And don't forget, before you listen to any other episodes, subscribe on iTunes right now for your chance to win $100 every Monday.